Merry Christmas, welcome to Benny on the Beat.
That's not going to work.
We'll stick to the usual introduction. That's right, everybody. Welcome back to episode 21 of Benny on the Beat. It's been a while. It's been long enough. It's like those times you don't see someone for a long time and then see them again and realize how much better they look, like how much weight they've lost and stuff. I mean, you could tell, right? You know what? Don't answer that. It's just good to have you guys back. And as far as why we haven't been on the channel as much, I'm going to do a whole separate video explaining all of that. But today is all about the calls. It's all about Benny on the Beat. It's all about recapping those stories from the road as a police officer. If you're new here and you've never been here before, these videos are about my job as a cop. We also post videos on this channel about my life off the job with my family. Just subscribe, you'll get the hang of it. Welcome to the channel. So per the title of this video, we had kind of a scary incident on the job. This was a weird situation, and this involves an officer in our agency that I work with, and so I'm obviously not going to share personal information. I'm hesitant to even talk about kind of what it ended up being, like the medical issues involved. I want to respect him. I want to respect his privacy. I'll tell you guys what I feel comfortable telling you. Just kind of a crappy situation. It was really weird. So I was on a call. I don't even remember what I was doing, but on the radio, I heard somebody key up and they asked for medical to respond to the police station parking lot. And there was somebody in the background yelling like they were dying, in pain. They were upset. Honestly, they sounded like a lot of people do when they're drunk and we bring them to the police station and they're just throwing a tantrum or throwing a fit. Everybody that's been a cop or heard a police radio, you hear that in the background and everyone thinks the same thing. Well, somebody's got a live one. Someone's got somebody in the back seat of their car. Like a minute later, they get on and say they are rushing this person to the hospital themselves. Cancel medical. They just loaded them into a cop car. They're rushing them to a hospital. And I could still hear this person in the background. They sounded like they were just in agonizing pain. At the time I heard this, I didn't realize this was a police officer. But I guess what happened was another officer got back to the police station and was driving through the parking lot and he heard somebody yelling, groaning, whatever, like in pain. And he thought the same thing that we all thought when we heard the radio. Somebody's got a suspect in the back of their car or like in the intoxilizer room or something, and didn't think much of it. And he's driving around the parking lot. He still hears this noise and it's like a cry of agony. Like the Princess Bride.
That is the sound of ultimate suffering.
But he can't find where it's coming from. He keeps driving around, so he parks his car, he gets out, and as he's walking into the police station, he hears it, like off to the side, like there it is. And he looks over, and this officer's in his car, in the driver's seat of his car, like slumped. I don't know if he was leaned back or if he was slumped over, but he said he was just laying there and was just like, oh. And if I remember right, as he's telling this, like the officer looks over, turns his head over and sees the other officer and just says, help me. He's in some serious pain. So of course, everyone's wondering like, what's wrong? What's going on? First thing that he thought was passing a kidney stone. I've never had the pleasure. I hear it's a really, really interesting experience. Or like an appendix possibly getting ready to burst or has burst or something like that. But serious pain, right? This is where it would be interesting to tell you guys what it ended up being. Even though I'm being anonymous with them and not sharing any personal information about who it is or anything like that, I don't know that I feel comfortable sharing, you know, the medical diagnosis. Let me just say this. It wasn't any of those things that everybody thought that it was. Really, really kind of scary situation for, I can't imagine what was going through his mind. You never know what life's gonna bring you. I mean, all about that next challenge, that next trial, that next you know, kick in the ribs, whatever it's gonna be. Life doesn't miss anybody. If things are going great, just brace yourself because something's about to happen. Of course, this was a big one for him and his family, but we wish him a speedy recovery. And yeah, that's the story on that one. And I had some other interesting calls as well. We'll go over a few of those and then get into some questions and stuff from you guys. So I had a call to call a woman. This was a telephonic call. The information from the dispatcher was that she wanted to talk to an officer about things that she had done in her past, possibly wanting to turn herself in, and just needed to talk to an officer to get things off of her chest. Interesting. So you guys know we have body cams that we wear. I don't usually turn those on when I do telephonic calls. It's usually just something quick and something not that important. But every now and then there's a telephonic call that you know you better turn on your camera just in case. So this was one of those, just in case it was like something legitimate. She started confessing to a murder or something weird like that. So I turned on the camera, had it ready to record, called her up. She answered, flipped the camera on. Where do I even begin? It wasn't anything. I don't know if this woman was, there might have been some mental illness involved. She may have been drunk. She may have been under the influence of something. It definitely wasn't a typical conversation. The one thing I remember was at one point in the conversation, and this is no shock to anybody at all, I'm sure, but she said, you have a very, very sexy voice, officer. I'm sure you're a very, very good-looking man. So I don't remember what she said after that, but I do remember, just saying, yes. Well, yes, ma'am. At your service. No, I'm actually at this point thinking, how do I end this conversation before it gets even weirder? Luckily, I was able to. I said something like, well, it sounds like you've done everything you should. Let us know if you need anything else, and happy holidays. And she kind of paused and, okay, well, thanks. And I was able to end the conversation. Who knows where she was wanting it to go, but, interesting. Then we had a good old-fashioned strong arm robbery. So this was a call from a security guard at a bank that saw something up the road. He was out doing his rounds, came up the road and found this person on the ground who had just been beat up and robbed by a couple of guys. So we run over there, and the car's already gone. They left the area. We didn't find them. But we talked to the victim, and what happened was he got online and posted his phone for sale, like on a local marketplace app. Person contacts him, says he wants to buy the phone. They agree to meet up. They meet at the front door of his apartment, and he gives them the phone as they give him some money. He notices a problem right away, though, because the phone was like $600 or something, and he could tell he was just giving him like $100. There wasn't enough cash there. So he immediately confronts him and says, hey, this isn't enough. And right as he gets the words out of his mouth, the guy takes off with the phone and runs. So this could be a good lesson on, maybe what not to do, but in the heat of the moment, people will react, how they react. But the guy our victim decides to chase the suspect. He runs to a car where there's another suspect waiting in the car as the getaway driver or whatever, and tries to get in the car. Our victim catches up to him, grabs him, and a fight ensues right there at the car. They kind of get halfway in the car, halfway out, and the driver starts taking off. They both end up falling out of the car. Our victim is partially run over by the car, and he thinks the suspect was run over even worse, like a different part of his body or something. In the end, the victim ended up getting punched and beat up by these guys. The guy parked that was driving, got out and helped his buddy and beat him up, left him there in the street, and then they both got in the car and they left. Question is that worth it for your phone? Obviously, a lot of people would be upset by that, and they would want to go do something. They would just react. You don't really think. You just do in the moment. But food for thought, what you would do if that happens. I can't remember if we talked about this one on another episode of Benny on the Beat, but I don't have time today to go back and watch them. Someone let me know if you guys have heard the story before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Anyway, it's worth a repeat, I guess. So we got talking about variety. We got a call about it was at a car wash about a female at the car wash with no pants on that was washing herself. We rolled down there. I had a ride along with me. Actually, you know who you are. One of our new dispatchers, and he is a follower on this channel. So we roll over there. See, this seems like I've talked about this, but maybe it was on a live stream. Anyway, we get there, and I'm hoping this is one of those calls where, like, they're just gone when we get there. It may have happened, but by the time we get there, they're not there. I was really hoping for that. Yeah, not so lucky on this one. We pulled up to the car wash. I look over, and boom! There it is. There she is. Bathing is in progress. Commenced. It's commencing. Sudsy brush. I don't know where to. So I parked. I walked up. I don't even remember what I said. Ma'am, fine day for a bath. I got her attention, and she was definitely mentally ill, under the influence of something, and My obvious biggest concern, besides the fact that she's stark naked, you know, bathing herself in a, and this is a self-serve bay, like, you know, where you got the 4 to 6 or 8 or whatever bays. My biggest concern, of course, was in a city environment with a healthy transient population. A woman in this state of dress is just a potential victim. Not potential, like a for sure victim waiting to happen. So she's clearly a danger to herself. Definitely as a result of some mental illness going on. Those meet the 2 criteria that we need to get somebody civilly committed for mental health evaluation. So rather than trying to take her to jail for indecent exposure, which, you know, that doesn't do any good. She obviously needs help more than, you know, criminal consequences, which is what we got her. We called the fire department down. They're experts at this type of stuff. Got out their sheets. Oh, it's my phone. Got out their sheets, wrapped her up, got her warm, got her in the ambulance, and yes, it was cold, by the way. This was winter, you know, so, I mean, she had to have been freezing. You know what? And on that note, I don't know where you go from there. That's, we'll leave it at that. We'll move on to your questions. Exfoliator. He used to drive a Chevy. He used to drive a Ford. Soon, Benny will patrol the beat on 4 wheels and a board. See what you did there, exfoliator. Poetry may be potentially accurate, but I will say we haven't done any update on the car. The Ford guys running flawlessly, perfect, no problems whatsoever. Cody Posh, hey Fuzz, cool news. I got accepted to the best LEO school in Minnesota, one step closer to becoming a cop. Cody, congratulations, my man. Not only a law enforcement school, but apparently the best one in Minnesota. Zorro Gaming, I love the videos. You're an inspiration to the 5-0 life. Well, Zorro, I appreciate it. Thank you. What is the 5-0 life?
I'm no ride on you, baby.
Bloodshots 54, is math needed to be a police officer? Not a lot, I'll be honest. Wasn't a big fan of math going through school, not very good at it. You do need some math when you take the entrance exams, so once you're on the job, you don't do a ton of it. Unless you become an accident reconstructionist. You do anything with accidents, diagramming and stuff with accidents, you will use some math. Adam MC, will your FuzzFam merch break down as much as your cars do? Or is all merch off-site away from the curse? Yes, if you guys didn't know, we recently opened a merchandise store. The link to it is in the, the thing below. I think in some of the descriptions of them, we actually point out that they actually carry the curse, specifically, intentionally. They carry the Impala curse. If you're new to this channel, you have no idea what we're talking about. Don't worry about it. What? R2D2. How long? Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. How long does it take to get a take-home vehicle in your agency? That's a good question. So I had to get through the lateral police academy because I was a cop somewhere else, not a brand new cop. We had a shorter academy with my department. Once I got through that, I got my take-home car. As a new officer, I think it's the same thing. Just once you're done with the academy, they give you the car. I think you get it actually before you finish, but you're not allowed to take it home on your own until you're done with the academy. Aaron Preston, FuzzFam, I want to be a cop and have wanted to for the past 4 years, and I'm 14. Anyway, can you please make a video on preferable classes I should take and whatnot? You may notice my profile pic. It's from a police show in Chicago, which is where I live. I don't recognize the show. Awesome. Aaron, at your age, as far as classes, I would just say get good grades. It doesn't matter what classes you take. There's not classes that are really going to prepare you for law enforcement. I mean, you get into college, there is criminal justice, which I don't recommend. It's like the worst degree you could ever get. If you just want to be a cop your whole career and you don't care really about college, you just want to study law enforcement related things because that's going to be your job, sure, go get criminal justice. But you want to do anything after that, you want to stand out, be unique, there's a whole bunch of degrees that are better. Rice Sunderland, love the videos, FuzzFam. My question is this: we recently had a drive-by shooting in my city. Would you say it's okay to follow the car as safe as possible until police can take over? Or is that something a civilian should never do? Didn't follow the car, but kept thinking something could have been done. As far as whether you should actually do that, in general, I would say no. I wouldn't follow someone that had just shot somebody else or shot at somebody else. You know they have a gun. They recognize that you're following them. Very easy for them to turn around and you end up in a scenario where they're using it on you. The best thing you can do is try to get a good description of the car, if possible, a license plate, and just be a good witness. James Wareham, hi Ben. Hello there. I love your videos and I would love to meet you someday. Just had a question, does your department carry medical equipment or do you carry medical equipment on your own? And do you know how to use medical equipment like first aid supplies, trauma kits, or even an automated external defibrillator? And do you know CPR, and have you ever had to do CPR? Just wondering because some officers get trained in medical situations. Yes, James, We are issued medical equipment. We carry it. I have done CPR many times. I have never had to do an AED, although I could do one if I needed to. I have been trained on that. But we are first responders, so a lot of times as a cop, you'll be the first one there before medical, before firefighters. And you got to be able to know at least basic first aid, CPR type stuff, right? You know, we don't do the advanced stuff, but you're the first one there. You're gonna be right there in the mix, so good to know. Blair Heather, policing is such a physically and mentally demanding job. That is a fact. That's why you have to be mentally and physically strong. Exhibit A.
Are you serious right now?
How do you deal with the mental side of policing? Also, love the videos, FuzzFam. You're doing an awesome job. Well, thank you, Blair. As far as dealing with the mental side of things, you know, this for me, doing YouTube, making videos and stuff is really therapeutic, I guess you could say. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. Keeps me busy, keeps my mind in good places, so that's helpful. Also for me, I've talked about this before, but spending time with families, doing things with my kids. I like to, you know, go to the gym and work out. Why are you guys scoffing? I can just see it through the camera. I can see people scoffing and laughing right now. It's not like I'm some, you know, day seal. Jesse X, it's not that you break cars, you just drive all the time and you use it stationary a lot that breaks the cars quick. Stop everything. Yes! 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 Jesse, thank you. It's the curse. You break everything. No. All right, that's probably good enough for this video, right? I think that works. So I apologize. It's been so long since the last video. We're not quitting these. We're not quitting YouTube. Again, I'll have a video out on the channel soon explaining what we've been doing with our time and why we haven't been able to do as many videos. But in the meantime, Christmas is coming up very soon. Hope you guys have a happy holiday. Enjoy the time with your family, friends, loved ones. Please be safe. Why am I wearing glasses? Guess I could just put my phone on silent. How about that, you idiot?